Hey everyone, and welcome back to Toy Picker Infinity's toy channel. So I'm just gonna roll along here into the next robot of the Godaikin forces, and another one of the robots that is not very well liked. I kind of have, the last 4 videos have been about the kind of most disliked kind of robots between the Godaikins, and then I did the Voltron 2, and again, sorry if I offended anybody on the Voltron 2, but we're kind of doing the robots that are least collected or most disliked kind of in the collection. And as always, I also like to do videos on stuff starting out here that's a little more rare and hard to get a hold of when it comes to toy collecting, and especially the Godaikin collection here. So standing in front of us, we have Dan Kouga, or also referred to as Dan Kouga from the Godaikin forces. This robot is a unusual Godaikin in that it doesn't have any die cast or anything like that, and it's an unusual robot because it's very difficult to transform. This robot is a quadruple or however many changer, because each of the forms on this robot, and I'm not going to transform this thing because, you know, most collectors either leave this in their solo animal forms or the robot mode because it is really difficult to transform. They didn't make it easy, and that's probably why it wasn't very popular with kids, is because it's not an easy transformation process in any of the forms. But Dan Kouga is made up of 4 different parts, or 4 vehicles, or 4 forms. And so here's Dan Kouga up close. And so the 4 forms are his 2 feet are separate, and then the body is separate, and the legs and body are all one big piece, and then the head is separate. And Transformers had a series called the Headmasters, I believe. Well, if anybody wants to argue this, they can try, but this is probably the very first Headmaster ever made in a transforming robot, and that is because the head here, just the head, just the face, turns into a little robot, and then it turns into a eagle, and then the face. And so just this headpiece, just the helmet and the headpiece, is the only thing that transforms into a robot bird. And it's kind of an interesting thing that they had just this one little piece transform, and then the body, shoulders, and the big leg parts are all one robot, and then or all one robot or one vehicle, and then the legs are separate, of course, like a lot of our other transforming robots that we have out there. So again, like I said, it's very difficult to transform into all the separate forms, and there's a lot of pieces on this thing that break really easy if you don't transform it right. Like in the body here, we've got the ears. When you transform it into the elephant, the little yellow ears back here, my thumb's touching, you got these little guns, and then you've got the tusks of the elephant that are tucked back here. These are all parts that can easily break off while you're transforming it if you don't do it properly. This robot is also susceptible to discoloration. Luckily, I've got a very nice example here. It stays in my case, and I usually leave my case pretty dark, except when I'm doing videos. I actually have the lights on right now, but I keep this all pretty dark unless I'm showing it. And then he also has a big cannon on the back that can be broken off. And some of the robots have little guns here and there, and they can all be broke pretty easy. Dan Kouga, weapon-wise, he only comes with this humongous rifle. It's kind of a cool-looking rifle, but it's unusual in the Godaikin collection, besides a Bega not coming with anything. He comes with no sword at all. So, which out of the Godaikin collection, I think Machine Man, Valvalos, let's see, Dan Kouga, and one of the other ones up there does not come with a sword, and all of the rest of our Godaikins, all the rest of the robots come with some sort of sword or weapon. Oh, Daitetsujin 17 does not come with a weapon either. And Daleon is the other one that does not come with a weapon. So there's like 6 of them that don't come with any swords or weapons or anything, but Dan Kouga here comes with this huge gun, but no sword. Anyway, so this is the original box, which is in pretty good condition. It's got one split through it. Usually I'm pretty good about getting pristine examples, The boxes, I like to have a nice box, but I don't totally care about the box altogether because it sits in a closet. No one sees the box, really. But on the back here, it shows the different transformation forms. So the feet turns into a robot and a little tank with a cannon, and then a baboon, and then we have the black one, which turns into, I think it's supposed to be a panther. I'm not really sure. Some sort of cougar. Oh, a black cougar. That's what it says. And then a robot and another tank. And then you have, of course, again, like I said, the head up here. The head turns into not only face, but this little robot and then an eagle. Very first headmaster, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're a headmaster collector, this is the first one. And then the big torso and legs turns into this huge elephant or the tank. Now the tank mode on this thing is pretty cool. Actually, all the vehicles, when you turn them into the actual tank modes for the feet and the body, I mean, they're pretty cool looking tanks. The head, probably an eagle mode would probably be its best. The robots all seem kind of clunky and funky, and even their animal modes, except for the head, their animal modes are a little odd, but then again, this is just a robot, and they didn't build this to be animal like Voltron or Daltonius or anything like that, where it has an animal that's really detailed as an animal. These really look like a robot. So on the inside, it has, of course, it's styrofoam foam, and then it comes with a awesome poster. This is what the poster looks like on the back. It's one of the few posters that actually shows all of the Godaikin vehicles, and so it has a big poster inside. Most of the time when you find these Dan Cougars, the poster is missing. That is one of the pieces that is hard to get a hold of out of this robot, is if you're wanting it to be complete, is the poster. The poster usually ends up missing. But now Dan Kouga, interestingly enough, just for historical purposes, so Dan Kouga is out of the Godaikin forces, which is the 3rd series of Godaikins. Dan Kouga is the leader of the Godaikin forces. Now, I don't really get that and don't know why they picked one of the more clunky robots to be the leader. And also They say he's the most powerful. I mean, geez, if I was picking a leader robot, you know, it would be like Voltes 5 or, you know, Combatra, or even out of the third series, I would have picked Machine Man instead of, you know, good old Dan Kouga. But maybe that was a selling point. I don't really know. This also comes with a little comic book, and the little comic book really puts him as kind of the leader. Kind of, maybe they copied Optimus Prime-ish, kind of tried to do an Optimus Prime-ish thing with him, and make him the leader of the Godaikin forces, or all the robots. But before Series 2, or Series 3, before Series 3 came out, there wasn't any sort of little comic book that came with the toys, and there wasn't really a story of how all these guys went together. They were just a bunch of robots from Japan, some of them Super Sentai Megazords, some of them not Megazords, you know. And I guess in when they did Series 3, which was when the Transformers were really raging, they decided they needed to try for commercial reasons and probably for kids, to get kids to collect. You know, they said, oh, we need to have a team, so let's put our robots in a team. So the third series ended up being called Godaikin Forces, and good old Dan Kouga here is the leader. So that's kind of it on Dan Kouga. I wish I could have shown how to transform him, but, you know, I would have to do... I don't like to edit my videos. A lot of people go, oh, you should edit, make some better, but I really like to just go straight forward and talk about them, and if I can transform, I will. But, you know, maybe I'll do an edited video on him later and try to show you how each piece transforms, but it'll be a long video because it takes a while. It is not easy to transform that guy. So that's why I'm not doing it. So if you have any questions or comments at the bottom, leave them at the bottom, and stay tuned for my next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.